Why can't I hear anything?
You're muted. Oh. What have you done? What a start.
Technology. See, useless at technology. So, hello. Welcome to the Simply Together show. It is grey. It has been raining. It's muggy, and it's August. What the hell? But we had great weather this weekend at Reggaeland, so that's fine. That's okay. We're dry. So we've got virtually the whole team on here today. How are you doing, Shelley?
I'm good, thank you. I've cooled down now after the dog walk because it is rather humid out there.
It is. How are you doing, Nikkei?
Oh, I'm excellent, thank you. Excited. Sad about the rain, but hey, the rain is the rain. It's all good. How
are you doing, Samara?
I'm good. I'm surviving summer holidays. So,
what are we now? Week 2?
Yeah, we're going into week 3, and to be honest,
oh my god,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really having a good time with the kids. So I'm good. Thanks.
Good.
Still.
Say again.
How are you?
I am good. I was at Reggaeland Saturday, Sunday, and it was absolutely brilliant. It was absolutely packed. Shabba Ranks was shit. But anyway.
Really?
That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. I'm not
it's your opinion, it's valid.
I'm not a dancing kind of girl, and But what I have learned is, and I normally know this already, 2 days of doing things, I need that day off the next day, and I didn't book a day off yesterday, so I'm still not drinking. I wasn't drinking, so I was driving, so it's not alcohol. I'm aching, and it's all the fibromyalgia. So next year I need to book a day off. Because otherwise I feel like I'm about 100 years old. But other than that, I am fine. So today we are going to, what we'd originally planned was we was going to talk about women and how they support each other. Not. But I just want to have a quick conversation with regards to these riots, because there is a message going around social media today about it happening tomorrow in Luton. What's your thoughts?
Well, I actually saw something on TikTok, so I messaged. I was literally, I think it was like 20 minutes before you sent that message through, so I was actually going to mention it in our chat anyway. Because there's been a circulation on TikTok and Instagram mainly of people basically saying, why don't we go to Luton? That's where Tommy's from. So the leader of EDL is from Luton. So people are saying, they're all kicking off in all these different cities and towns, but why are we not kicking off in the town that the leader of this group is from? So that's
because he doesn't live here.
I know, but that because obviously they're just by default they're saying because he's from here, they need to kind of make some noise down here. So obviously I was going to raise alarm bells for that. And obviously we just, in life in these days, we have to have our wits about us anyway, because, we know, obviously I know a lot of people probably know the story that's circulating, I think was the start of these riots, is the children that were obviously brutally murdered by the young man. And obviously then the religion came into it and other things. But, them children literally went to a Taylor Swift dance group, so you can be sending, because I was looking at summer groups for my children to send them. I actually also saw a little mini riot in Southend on TikTok the day before I went down to Southend.
Right,
it was almost, I was this close to pulling the plug on going. But at the same time, it's just me, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I don't want to live my life like that, where I see something, unless it's like, obviously I'm not saying that wasn't serious. There was young boys with machetes that were literally massive in this video, and they were running around on the seafront near where the pier is with these machetes, and it was in broad daylight, so I'm not saying you know, don't have your wits about you and things like that. But at the same time, I'm the type of person that if I see, it's like I've seen something on the news and then we just go by the news and we're just not going to go to that thing, or we're not going to do it, you know. So it's just been really nasty to see. But obviously, yeah, I did get wind of it potentially being a riot coming to Luton, purely based on the fact that people have been had a massive uproar about Tommy being from Luton, basically.
But yeah.
Go on, Nico.
I was just gonna ask the question because I obviously, like you, I spend a lot of time on that platform. And the question asked is the same question I asked myself the first time I heard about the riot, was that what exactly are these people rioting about? And then all I could put it back to, and it's the same thing I said about all the other controversial things we've spoken on this platform, I don't really like that term, it's a dog whistle, but it is the way it's reported. It's reported so poorly that now I just believe that it is deliberate with the intent of inciting this type of behavior, because these riots only happen after certain incidents. Because, like we said, there have been loads of incidents where poor little children have been killed through no fault of their own. There was one I saw, I didn't even know it happened. So I'm thinking, did they even report it? This little 5-year-old boy that just happened, I don't know, I think he just happened to be somewhere and he got shot. You know, there was a list of children that got shot or maimed or something through no fault of their own. And unfortunately, whether we like it or not, the perpetrators did not look like the perpetrator of the one who did this. And so I really do not understand why they're rioting. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it is rioting, it is looting. They're not protesting about anything because I just don't understand it.
It started off, and nothing's actually been physically said of the reason why this young man went into that building and did what he did to those young children.
Mm-hmm.
There has been talk that it was then racially motivated, but that was all online. What happens is these rioters, as they are now, have got nothing to do with the original story, and they just jump on the bandwagon as to they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and have a thought of a reason behind it as just what they only get in their mind.
Mm.
They're not doing anything for the name of those children that have been killed and those that are actually now so hurt by it. So the other children that were there and their friends and family that were around them that have been affected by it.
Sorry.
Nico at work and someone's trying to get in our room.
You could have just said, I'm busy in here.
Love you.
Sorry, go on, Shelley.
Yeah,
that have been affected by this knife crime, by this any kind of crime. That it is just then a mob mentality.
Yeah.
And Tommy, yes, he was living in this town for quite a while. There's a lot of people that know him in this town, but he's nowhere near here.
No.
Where is he right now?
Milan.
He's sunning himself around a pool.
Yeah.
So whilst he's enjoying the sun,
the
rest of his people,
idiots, gang.
But are they really his people though? Does he?
Ignoramus. Yes, there's a lot of words that you can actually then use for them.
But does he claim these people, Shelley?
Just to make a point.
Shelley, does he claim these people? Does he claim? Is that right?
He doesn't. It's not like he's not claiming them.
No.
So he's not. Even if he, I would say he's claiming them, but ultimately he's not saying they're not his people. That he's not saying any of that. So if you're not saying that they're not yours, then that means they are in some respect.
Because going back to the point you made earlier, Shelley, when it was first reported, I was actually here, and my colleague next to me said, "Look, have you seen this thing?" And she literally just reported it the way she'd seen it on the internet. And I said, "Well, so I'm going to, well, how do you know that?" And obviously then the official report comes out, which was very innocuous. A young man did A, B, and C. And then the next thing I saw was Nigel Farage with his inflammatory language. So this is, yeah, I'm sorry, I just get really
the trouble is,
frustrated.
all of them are them rioting, and they're smashing up any kind of shop around them. They've had them go into, because they have, some of them have actually then been like going into hospitals and stuff. And I know this from someone, yes, I did pick it up from social media, but it is a friend that actually works in a hospital. They've been coming in because they've been hurt themselves, because they all just jump all over one another and everything else. But they're actually then being treated by the people that they're then having a go at. Well, because they come over here and they're actually working.
Yes,
because they're not actually going by anything that's like an immigration status. They're not going by anything that's you're coming over here and taking our jobs. And for some of them that are then doing these riots, that are then taking their children along, and you hear them start then using all these racial slurs and stuff, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I did see a video, actually. That was my next point. I saw a video, I think it was in Belfast, of a young girl walking with her mum. I think it's gone viral.
Yes, I've seen it.
And she's using racial slurs towards, I believe it was Asian people, in the street.
Word.
Yeah. So she used that particular word towards Asians, and she, the lady that was filming was saying, "How can you, like, this isn't on. You're coming to a riot or to a protest for yourself, fine, but you're bringing your child, and you're actually allowing." The child was skipping. The child was literally skipping. Literally, like that, Cecile.
As they're being racist.
Skipping, being racist. And I'm just thinking, I thought back to my two children. As a mother, I'd like to think of myself as being very careful where my children are concerned, even on the emotional side of things. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with, if you shed a tear in front of your children and show your children emotions. I actually think that's quite healthy, as long as you're doing it to a certain degree and it's not excessive, I believe. So I believe, bring your children to certain things, but a riot like that, and then you're letting your child shout racist things, because now that child's all over the internet, that child's going to go back to school, with multicultural school. Most schools are multicultural these days. I mean, my children's school actually in itself is very diverse. And you've plastered, that child now has been plastered all over the internet.
Yeah.
So that child gets seen now going to the shop to get her mum some milk, for example, and then she gets jumped by, let's say, I'm not going to say Asians, could be Asians, could be blacks, could be whites. White people could jump her, but she could get jumped now. God forbid. I'm not wishing that on her, but that's how serious this could become, because that child's obviously been posted by someone else, but that mother didn't tell that child, no, don't say that, don't do that, that's not right. If my child could do that,
it's fine, because it's okay for them, isn't it? That, the mentality that they have is, that is okay. That's okay to do that. That's okay to take your children along and do whatever it is you want to do. So somebody who got arrested, one of those people there that got arrested, the solicitor is an Asian guy. How is that even a thing? You're out there going off on one about people, and then you're then going to let one of them represent you because he's going to get you off. How does that is just mind-blowing. It is just, it's so.
But it goes back to the point you made earlier, Cecil, where they don't know. They are just thugs and ignorance, and they are just being very much like sheep, and they don't know. But going back to that young girl, what makes me sad is that does she really know what she's saying? She's going there saying that. She doesn't know what she's saying. And then at some point, like Samara said, the internet doesn't die. It doesn't really, even if they delete it, journalists have access to backtrack. Those things can come out again in the future. And she doesn't know. So the impact could also implode the other way, because she's going to grow up and realize, well, why did you allow me to do that? Why did you put me? And then that's where the families then start to
And if they're young, if these children are young, and I'm talking, I don't know, like 6, 7, something like that.
Yeah, I think she
We're
was
not
about
going to
that
be able
age.
to work out that this is what we're doing to those people. But my friend Mary at school, she's okay because she's my friend. Do you know what I mean? So if they're in a multicultural school and they have got friends that are black, brown, they might not even be able to put the two together. That what they're doing to them is what other people are going to be doing to their friends.
Yeah.
Because like you said, so going back about that young lad, so there was a young lad a few months ago, was it 3 months ago? So he was killed by the guy with the machete, the white guy with the machete. There were no riots that this child was killed. No riots at all. What? Because the guy that killed him was white. Whereas this guy, this young lad who has gone and murdered these children and put X amount of children in hospital and the teachers as well, he was born here. He's been raised here. He may have a different religion to what I've got or and other people have got, but he's still British. He's still British. And they're going on and on and on about... Have any of you watched the Tommy Robinson video?
Oh,
that went
honestly, I prefer to watch it, yeah.
Oh, Lord. I was so disgusted because he's going on and on about we've got to reclaim England. We've got to get it back. And I just thought, Jesus Christ.
There was also something circulating, though. Don't know how true it is, but it was literally today I saw it, probably about not even a couple of minutes before I saw the thing going around about riots coming to Luton. I think Tommy's solicitor or someone that represents him stepped down and sent him a message. Basically, he was like, I don't want to get caught up in this because of the colour of my skin. So obviously that tells me that his representative or whoever is Asian or is black or whatever. So I'm going to...
So this is a problem.
The message...
It's a problem.
Back, the message said, I'll send you back... please send me your details and I'll send you back the deposit, basically. So he said, here's... And then it blurred out the rest of the message.
It's a problem because I remember seeing an interview with Oprah Winfrey once, because many years ago she had that organisation, the Ku Klux Klan, on her show. It was... I can't remember what her purpose was, but then afterwards she realised that it was a mistake because they were using it. There were the whistles going out, and basically we're using her. That's how I see all these people of colour that are retained by these people that don't understand that they're being used. I mean, obviously the people in the NHS, they're stymied. They're a captive audience. They work for the organisation, so they have to treat them. But
the mentality behind that, I think, is that those people who have then been down there, they've been rioting, they've got themselves hurt, they go walking into the A&E and they expect, there's an expectation, doesn't matter what colour you are, that you are going to treat me because I am English or I am British. That's that mentality. So they're not going to go in there and say, right, I don't want you to treat me. They're going in there with you have to. That's what your job is. You have to treat me. And I'm really angry. I wasn't until I saw this stuff that's going to be happening tomorrow. I don't get involved in any of these things. So I'd really like to go down there. Because it's just made me really angry. And I'm worried now for the Knife Angel as well.
Same.
And are they going to damage that? Is that going to be moved? I know on Deez Real Talk show this evening from 7:00, there's a guy on there and he's going to be talking about the Knife Angel. So maybe that question will be answered. But I just think that's not safe there.
No, it's not.
And we don't need the Knife Angel to just about come to Luton and then it gets damaged.
No.
Because that's all people will remember is, oh, it went to Luton and look what happened.
Yeah, it's the conditioning. It's the conditioning for me. I just think everything from the reporting from social media has gone so far left, well, right of centre, call it what you like, because it's not reporting anymore. Now it's just facts, and the facts are fed by the people who want to distract the well, basically the 95% of us, because obviously so while we're busy focusing on all of this, they're busy looting the country. It's mad. It is mad. It is completely conditioning. And because obviously I stopped watching the news at the beginning of I think it was the beginning of the pandemic. It might have been just before, to be fair. But that's just where, that is personally where I see it from. It's literally, everybody is just saying an opinion rather than remembering that facts are friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, you guys might think something differently, because I don't understand how grown people can actually believe that it's okay to go and riot, to go and break up a shop, to go and break up a business, to put damage and spoil the economy of a town where the so-called people that they think they're claiming the country back for are going to be trying to live and make a living. How do the two things equate?
Yeah, I just want to know what they're expecting after that, because you've smashed up shops now. Because, do you know what I mean? Like, you smashed up shops, you're burning down. I saw someone trying to set a bus alight the other day, the back of a bus and a seat in a bus. And I'm just like, okay, I would love to ask one of those people, what are you getting out of this? Are you getting paid for this? And even so, I wouldn't want to be paid to do something like that. What are you actually getting out of this? Because now your face is plastered all over the internet. If people get wind of that or see you, it's just like the whole knife crime situation and the gang stuff, things being related in that way. I know it's not exactly the same, but a lot of the time with like knife, I mean, I watched a documentary yesterday on a young guy who lost his life. He got stabbed by, he was misidentified, so they were actually looking for his brother. Okay, but now, you know, that, God forbid, but that could be ongoing now because you've killed somebody.
Yeah.
And usually 9 times out of 10 it is. It's the same for these riots, you know. People can see, imagine now if a mother is hospitalised because someone got beaten up in a riot, or the mother was caught in a crossfire of a riot. Someone sees a man's face in a video, and then they see him walking down the road. I know I'm speaking like in crazy terms right now, but these things happen.
Yeah.
Is it crazy? I think we want to believe that it's crazy, but actually these things can happen.
They do happen. They have happened.
Yes.
It's dangerous. Yeah. Internet is a scary place. Like Nike said, it's there. For example, do you know how easy it is to save a video off TikTok? People do it with my videos all the time. So I post my singing videos. People save my videos. They've got that for life. So I could delete that video now, but at least 36 people have got it saved somewhere. You know, same with these riots, same with everything else. You're done for. When things like that post on the internet, that woman from the prison, she's done for. That's saved. Millions of people have saved that. Millions of people have their camera roll. It's the same for the riots. It's the same for these knife crimes and gang violence and all of these things. People have things saved. Screen recording is dangerous. Screen recording is a dangerous thing as well, because even if you can't physically save a video, people screen record it. So I'm saving.
Yeah, they're apps as well. They're apps, because I use Friendly to download things. Yeah.
It's done. You've got, regardless, I could post a video, I could post a snippet of this, and then people can save it. People can screen record us talking, may say they don't like something we've said, and that's it. That's getting circulated. That's just an example. I know. Do that to us. No. But yeah.
But on a lighter note of stupidity, I don't know if you saw this, Samara. There was a man they interviewed, right? And they asked him, he's complaining that he can't get a job. He says, because they come up and say, well, why can't you get a job? And he goes, it's those immigrants. So obviously, to be fair, the reporters prompted him, so what, the immigrants are taking the job? He goes, yeah. And then he goes, but I have got a criminal record. And the first time I saw it, that is actually literally where it stopped. As if to say, you can't really fix stupid, right? But then, of course, like Samara says, people keep the videos, right? So then the next time it came on my feed, everything was there. So he didn't just have a criminal record. He's got the type of criminal record that even if you expunge it, nobody's going to want him. You know what I mean? It is a horrible criminal record to have. So he's not getting no job. And it doesn't really matter whether there are no immigrants in his town. He's not getting a job.
For his
The other one that was the stupid video as part of an interview was a woman and the Titanic.
I don't know what you're going to say.
She said that the Titanic sunk because it was full of immigrants that was going over to America.
No way.
I didn't
So
know
that could happen to us.
Oh my God.
refer to the video that I saw yesterday of a woman talking. She was quite gappy. She probably had one tooth in her mouth. And she's like, yeah, they're taking all of our jobs. Taking all of our jobs. And the interviewer was like, oh, did they take your teeth as well then? I threw my phone and I almost wet myself. I was like, she literally, do you know what her response was? Yeah. She said, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So yeah, another level of stupidity there, but yeah, it's absolutely insane. But also on the topic of, you know, the whole immigrants taking jobs, I feel like there's a lot of snobs in the UK, and I say this to say the reason I'm going to say that is I'll speak to a lady or a man, because I have spoken to people and they've said, oh, do you know what, they're very tunnel visioned and they don't believe in stepping up the ladder, so start from somewhere kind of thing. And I've met a lot of lovely people, I'd say, that work in McDonald's and places like that. And they've told me a bit of their life story, that they've moved over here for a better life and things like that. And a lady in particular spoke to me. She said, well, there was a woman that I spoke to and she really didn't want the job. And she was quite like, she was turning up her nose at the fact that we work at McDonald's. But I was like, okay, so a lot of the time they're taking jobs that you don't even want to do anyway. Because you don't want to work in catering. And all of these things, because you look your nose up at these jobs. So don't complain if you put on a McDonald's cap and go and serve me a burger, because do you know what, this lovely lady or this lovely man's going to do it, because they're not turning up their nose. Their work ethic is absolutely insane. They will go to work, right? They will get out of bed to work at McDonald's, no problem, because they see it's important to them to have a job. Whereas if you're that desperate to get a job, go and take the job. It's really easy actually to get a job. I've heard anyway. Oh
really? I couldn't get a job at McDonald's when I was unemployed.
There isn't. I mean, we found that though, didn't we? Once all that Brexit happened and everything else, people who normally come over during the summer, do all the stuff down on the farms, all of that, they couldn't get anybody because they weren't coming over. And we have got however many millions of people unemployed, but yet they're not going to do that job because actually they get more money on their benefits than going and doing that. You know, that's a whole thing and a whole show in itself, because but people are stupid. People are stupid, and my friends know what I say about people with only one tooth in their mouth. So I'm glad you said it, Samara, because I would not saying that. It's like seriously. But so tomorrow, by the looks of it, it's happening tomorrow. From what I understand, that message is now going to most probably go to the council, to local authority. There's going to be things that are closed that people want open because they're in the centre of town. Because obviously they're presuming it's going to be in the evening, but they've also got to think about whether it's going to be in the daytime. So we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on. People need to keep themselves safe.
I mean, there was already a message that went out from the Bedfordshire Police Commissioner,
right,
and Hazel Simmons, the councillor for Luton. The council offices yet, so that came out from the council first thing this morning,
right?
To then say that we're having to up the police are having coming off of their annual leave. They're coming off of doing shifts that they perhaps wouldn't have been doing before. So it's costing councils all across the UK
Millions. It's going to cost
money.
millions.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that's the
have all this
problem
extra
is,
staff.
yeah.
But why? But I wouldn't come off my annual leave. Do you know what I mean? So I work in a very different organisation.
I
But
think when you
why?
work for the police, it's different. I think it's
I
different when you
I
work for the police.
understand that. I understand that. But why? You know, why should they have to? Why should they have to? They are also entitled to time off. So not
I don't
only
disagree.
are these whatever you want to call them, writers, causing all this damage, costing the council absolutely loads of money, you're then putting the police in danger, who we might need for something else.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And we're not going to be able to have them because they're going to be in the centre of town getting all sorts of things thrown at them.
Well, it's not just the police, is it? Because you've got to have the backup then. So you're going to have the police, you're going to have the ambulance service.
Yeah.
You're more likely going to have... I can see the Army Reserves actually then being called in. Because if it does then carry on and it keeps going on, we're not going to have the backup. And it's just costing the country loads of money just because they want to kick off. And it's not productive.
They should just go and get the water cannons, you know, like they have in Europe. They use them in Europe. Go to France, they use them. Spain and Italy, they use them. They need to go and get some water cannons.
That's what I was going to say as well, because now linked to the police and the ambulance and Amazon, it is going to spoil it for people who genuinely want to protest about things where they want to move the government. But I mean, because already they were low-key trying to get rid of that. So...
and I don't mind. I think, you know, we've always been able to go and protest. We've always been able to speak our mind, and people should be able to do that. But there shouldn't be violence going along with it.
Yeah,
if they want to come and say whatever they want to say about immigration, go and do that. But you don't need to throw anything at anybody. Just go and speak and say what you want to say. Yes, Munya, frontline workers. Yeah, because it's just going to affect everything. And so yes, and on the news earlier on, they've said that they've opened up 500 places within prisons for them. Arrest them all and just send them to prison. Arrest them all.
There's no spaces in the prison.
They've got 500 spaces from somewhere.
Where they got them from.
Do you know what? I don't care as long as they've got some, because they need to just lock them up. Lock them up.
Oh my God.
If somebody ends up on my street wanting to shut me up, then I'm going to call all of you lot. You need to come and get me.
Oh, I'll be there.
Because I've been far too vocal. Far too vocal. Actually, you're just around the corner. Yeah, I'll ring you and then you can come in.
We have like the bat signal kind of thing. We have like a Deez signal kind of go up.
Oh my God.
They can convert a hotel and make it into a prison. They could very well do that.
They've got the boat down at
they've got the boat, haven't they?
Yeah. Was that
it's where my mum lives in Weymouth. They've got where they had the immigration.
Camp Hill? I can't remember what it's called.
Something like that. Something like that. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Right.
Okay, so we just need to keep ourselves safe.
Yeah.
Make sure you check on your people to see where they are.
Mm-hmm.
I've already messaged my kids. My son says he's going to stay indoors. Good, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Remy will be here. Although she was supposed to be going out tomorrow night. Don't know about that. Depends where it is. If it's that direction, that's fine. That direction, no. And if you see me on the news, that's because I decided to go down there.
Fair enough.
Oh my God, I can just see it. Don't worry, you can use some chi when they're all coming through the things there. You just say, like, those taekwondo people have shown me how to use the chi, and you will stand there, you will go like this, and they will all fall backwards, and then you will be the hero. Say, yes, Cecile Talon, she just used the chi, and they all fell over.
So that will give them some motherly words.
I'm going to tell you something really quickly before we move on to Samara. So, you know, when there was, you guys most probably don't know, Shelley might know, In the 70s, there was might be the 80s, the skinheads that came down to Luton. They went from Bury Park, and they walked up Dunstable Road. So we lived on Dunstable Road. I remember looking out of my window like this, hoping nobody could actually see me. Oh, Jesus Christ, of course they couldn't see me because I'm up on the top floor. No one could see me. But my dad, who was a very quiet man, unless you pushed him, he was actually standing in our front garden with his machete ready. And I can remember my mum screaming at him, "You need to get out, get out." And he's like, "No, they're not doing anything to my house." And they didn't anyway. They I don't know what, I can't remember. They did Bury Park, and then they came up Dunstable Road, and they must have gone back down. But yeah, I remember him standing there and thought, "Oh my God, we've got these skinheads coming along." Yeah.
But that just then proves the point. I mean, from the way that the skinheads were back then, you could have a protest. Yes, it was shouty. Yes, there were words exchanged, but there was no violence like what we're seeing right now.
No, exactly.
And there was a lot of protests, but a lot of different things. And not once did you actually then get that tip over that much. That much. Yes, scary. So
we're going to leave that there. Anybody who's listening, who's watching it on catch up, let us know your thoughts, etc., etc. But the other reason we came on today was to talk about something that Samara experienced only a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that, which she then put up a post on socials. Tell everybody what happened.
It was literally twice in one night. So it was the first weekend of the summer holidays. So my kids went off with their dad for the weekend. So obviously I had like 3 days to myself. So my friends were inviting me out, and my cousin invited me to my uncle's house. Now I don't really, by just my choice, I just like to kind of keep myself to myself. So I don't really go around my family's house, but it was quite nice to just get out and go see my uncle for a bit. One of the occasions I had someone at the first event I went to basically comment on my appearance. She said that I was looking at her funny. I'm not being funny, I didn't know her, so I literally greeted her just out of respect for whose house I was in. I wasn't at my house. I'm just being respectful of other people's guests, that's just who I am. But I didn't really say much else to her. She said that she had a headache, so apart from that, I checked in on her, do you want some water, that kind of thing. And then she persisted to say that I was looking at her funny, that I wasn't really related to my family and things like that. And then she went on to say that I'm really ugly, I'm fat, and I've got really bad eyebrows. I'm not going to comment on her. I'm not going to comment on her appearance, because otherwise it kind of defeats the object of why I'm talking about it. But it was just really nasty experience. And then it resulted in her telling me to go and suck my mum. Now, for those that don't know, my mum actually passed away 11 years ago. So quite childish, because she's older than me. And those kind of terms, I feel like I left those terms in high school, because I remember when people in high school would say that to one another. Obviously, I'm 28 now, so it's been like 12 years since I left high school. So at the end of it, she said, "Suck your mum." And I was just like, wow, I'm not going to make myself the bad guy in this thing. So I just left her to it. Be honest, Samara being 15 would have probably knocked her lights out, being honest. So thank God for growth. But I was just disgusted. So that was the first occasion. I left that situation and went to my friend's house party. So she invited me there. I'm close with her, and I'm close with her little brother. So her little brother's like 19, and he looks up to me, and I look out for him when I'm out and about or whatever. And he'd invited me, she didn't. They both invited me over for a couple of drinks. I went there. Within 15, about half a minute of me being there, have this girl in my face. She'd cut her finger open prior to me getting there. She's in my face shouting at me, saying, "It's your effing fault that I cut my finger open," because he was so excited to see you little dumb bi, whatever, calling me all the names under the sun, calling me ugly, calling me this, calling me that. You've got man turning his head, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, honestly, I thought she was going to put her hands on me. She was so close to my face. And I was literally, would I say I was scared in that moment? No, I think I was more scared for her, because I was like, you don't want to put your hands on me, because I've got kids to go home to. Really, I'm just being honest. And I was just like, what on earth? I've had 2 women attack me verbally on my appearance and on me as a woman in literally the space of an hour. Literally. So I then went on Facebook and posted a status about it. And I was like, women don't support women at all anymore. I mean, any opportunity I get to call a woman beautiful or say I like your hair or I like what you're wearing, where'd you get that top from? I do it, you know. But it was just, honestly, it was horrible. The next day, I was just like, I just wasted an evening without my kids. I could have been at home watching Netflix, but I thought, let me get out. I don't go out often at all. I'm always at home because I've always got the kids. It was nice that they went out with their dad for the weekend. So I took that opportunity, and honestly, I regretted every minute the next day. I really did. It was horrible. It was a really horrible experience. I was just like, then I started, for a minute, I was looking at my appearance in the mirror, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to have you do that to me, because no way. And the thing is, I left the house feeling myself. I was like, yes, Mari, you look good. I was taking selfies. I probably posted a few before I went out. And then I just had 2 women on 2 separate occasions literally slate me for my appearance, for me as a woman. One of them, you know, she was older than me, and apparently she really fancied this 19-year-old who I look at as my little brother anyway. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, you're literally getting on to me about a boy that I look at as my younger brother. No, I'm not here for that. I'm here to like see people that I see as family. And it was just, honestly, it was a horrible night. It was horrible. It was horrible.
But that person...
Go on, Nico.
No, I wanted to backtrack to the first person in your uncle's house, right? You went to your uncle's house, and this person was a guest in your uncle's house.
Mm.
That's wild.
He said to me, you're not related to these people. That's not your uncle. That's not your cousin. I was like, who are you? I said, just because I'm not up in everybody's business doesn't mean I'm not related to anybody. I just like to keep myself to myself. My uncle said the same thing. She's just not up in everybody's grill. She's, you know, and then I'll be honest, I think I said it in private, but I think she thought she likes my uncle, but I think she thought I was like a side piece or something, because she's never seen me.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
Gosh, and then I was like, my mum is his older sister. That's literally my blood uncle. This is my blood. I grew up with her. We used to run around in nappies together. Like this is my flesh and blood. And then later on, when I decided to leave, I called my taxi and I was like, I'm leaving. This is disgusting. I didn't get a break for my kids for this. Basically, called my cab, whatever. She's come outside after me, and then she's like, you think you're all that because you're so and so's little sister. I was like, the penny dropped. So you've just accused me of not being related to people, but you've just told me who my big sister is.
Oh.
Even makes sense. Like, that doesn't make sense. The math is not mathing. So the whole time you've known I'm blood related to these people because you was able to tell me who my older sister was. Make it make sense. You know,
but it doesn't make sense.
Do you think she had beef with your sister?
She did, because I spoke to my sister the next day.
Yeah, because it just seems so wild.
Even still, why should another woman say criticize what a woman is wearing, anything like that? You know, it's hard enough as it is being a woman, because you're judged right and center.
Mm.
You know, you're not woman enough, you're not dressed right, you don't do this and you don't do that, to then have people then pulling each other apart.
Well, I was actually really well behaved. The only thing I did say to her was, if and I'm going to say it because this is real talk,
okay,
pretend like I'm a complete saint in the situation, because anybody that knows me from like years ago would know I dealt with her very well, because my hands would have been thrown that night. You told me to suck my mum. Like, I'm not even going to talk about the whole talking about my appearance. That's fine, you can do that. But then you've mentioned my dead mum. Like, that's not nice. But she spoke about my eyebrows and calling me fat and stuff. And I was like, you know, if like Jerry McCall was to come back, he would want you. Like, he would call you for an appearance, like for an episode, mate. So don't even come at me. Your head.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Sorry, I forgot to mention this. Probably 10 minutes into me being at the house, those that know me again, and I could be really honest about it, I'm very top heavy, if you get my drift. And she said, wow, you've got some really nice ones on you. And I was like, okay. And my cousin said, don't say that to her in front of her uncle. That's really inappropriate. If you're going to have a woman conversation, because women do that. Like, I literally went to a wedding on Saturday and another woman said, oh my gosh, your things are massive. And I was like, wow, I've literally been here 5 minutes. And I can't hide them. I mean, I'm doing a good job today, but I can't hide them usually. I go out, I can wear a black bag and you can see that I'm top heavy. But 10 minutes into me being in the house, she was like, oh yeah, your things are massive. And I was just like, I just felt, you could see on my exterior that I was very uncomfortable because you don't know me from nowhere. And you've said that, but you've said it in front of my uncle. That's so inappropriate. So my cousin said, oh, don't say that in front of her, don't say that in front of her uncle. Like, that's really inappropriate and stuff. And then from then she was like, uncle. And then apparently they went to the shop and they were saying, she was saying, that's not your niece. And he was like, it is. Like, why would I lie? Like, that's my younger niece. So honestly, it was just it was hell from beginning to end. I don't want to relive that night. I'm only reliving it now because I'm explaining what happened. But I've just seen so many different things. You know, I suffered really badly with body dysmorphia where I think I'm something and I'm not. So I looked at myself after I had my son, and I just felt 10 times bigger than what I actually was.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that it wasn't around that time because I think it would have really knocked me. And it just, I feel like it was a test for my confidence, my personal confidence as well, because I didn't feel hurt by it. I was just really disappointed in us as women that it actually taken place in the first place. But I was also happy that I've also elevated and grown in that department where I actually am starting to feel comfortable again in my skin, because it took me such a long time from having the body dysmorphia to get to that place. I think the thing that really wound me up was that she literally commented on my mum. Like, I was just like, why would you do? Because I think it was half an hour before that. She was like, oh, was playing music. She was like, oh, this is my dad's favourite song. Like, he died 3 years ago. And I was like, oh my gosh. Obviously, knowing that how it is to lose a parent, I was like, I'm so sorry for your loss. Probably one of the only things I said to her, apart from, do you want a drink? She said she had a headache. And then when she kicked off, but honestly, I was just so uncomfortable. And I just couldn't believe it. Like, I always, I'm like one of the first to big up anyone, man or woman, but a woman, I'm like, wow, like, your hair's so nice. Like, who did it for you?
Yeah.
Or, top's lovely. Where did you buy it? Like, I'm even in people's TikTok comments, like, I love your bag. Where did you get it? Like, that's the type of woman I am. But so sad. Honestly, it was like twice in one night. I had a woman in my face, blood all over me because she was waving her finger at me because she'd cut it open. She blamed me that her finger was cut open, and I was like, I've literally, everyone in the room was like, she just got out of her taxi. Honestly, it was an awful experience. It was terrible.
Okay, so the question then to everybody who's listening or whoever watches on catch up, why are women doing that to each other?
I think it's jealousy.
Why?
I think it's jealousy. The problem is jealousy.
With Samara on that one, definitely.
Because she was commenting on my breasts, okay? For example, the first woman commenting on my breast. Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, blah, blah. And then the first thing you attack when something in your own head goes wrong, because even my aunt, my uncle and my cousin were both like, that was so random and unprovoked. Could you believe I was at TikTok live before this kicked off? I had to cut off my TikTok live, right? And when I get off, I'm going to show you the clip of her cussing, yeah? And then I turn off the TikTok, I'll put it in the group chat. But you can see on my face how confused I was. I was just like, where has this come from? My uncle and my cousin was like, it was so unprovoked. She was talking about my looks prior, saying that I was beautiful and saying, oh, I'm top heavy and my breasts look great, so to speak. So then, yeah, how I look. So I just think it was plain pure jealousy. And then again, was jealousy again, because she obviously thought I was there for this 19-year-old. And sorry, bro, if you're watching, but you're 19. I would never go there. Plus, I look at him as family, so I wouldn't do it anyways. And any men listening, I am single, but I wouldn't go for a 19-year-old. Just saying, right? Because it's just me. I'm 20. So yeah, but jealousy. I look nice. I've made some effort for myself. I've not got my kids. I'm just getting out with a few friends. And then another woman's in my face with her blood splattering everywhere. I mean, when we turned on the lights, it looked like Freddy Krueger was in there. It was awful.
Oh my gosh.
It was absolutely, honestly, guys, I have not gone out since. Not left.
Yeah, I think that's the worst thing for you is you don't go out all that often.
No.
And when you have,
there's been
it's gone wrong.
I just elaborate on the fact and really emphasize that it was twice. This happened, guys, twice in one.
Yeah.
I just, it wasn't like I went out last weekend and the first occasion thing happened, and then I went out the weekend before and the second thing happened. No, this happened twice in like 2 hours. Just to let you know, like, twice with two different.
I think it is jealousy. That first one, I would put money on it, because she doesn't have money. She cannot go and pay to get what God has given you.
For free.
That's the point.
I got these for free.
Exactly. So that's my point. Women, you see, it goes back again to what we are talking about before, because obviously with the advent of social media, everybody can pick people's looks apart, and people pushing, this is the look, you should have this, and people are getting these BBLs and stuff like that. Everybody thinks that's what they should have. So yeah, that woman was definitely jealous of you on more than one count. Number one, because you've got the type of body that she wants, and secondly, because obviously she didn't believe that you were related to your uncle, because that's where her other eyes are.
But that's also to do with that mentality again, isn't it? We're talking about what's going to be going on, and that's a mentality. We've got this that goes on as well. So and it's not all women. It is not all women. We just have to say that it's not everybody, but some women, and they've done that for years. Because they are jealous of you, they will then look at you and think you might be the side piece, or think you're after that person but actually you're just there, and you're just trying to mind your own business, and they want to do that so that they can then have a go at you. And it's like, why are women doing that? Like I said, we have a hard enough time as it is. We don't need to then be doing that to each other. Be kind, be nice. Tell the woman she looks beautiful, right?
It doesn't cost you anything.
Go and get your money and you can buy some.
Oh, I think it's insecurity too, because people project their insecurities on other people. They do it in relationships, and they do it online, and they do it. I mean, that first woman they were both insecure women, because either way, like the first one thought I was my uncle's side piece, which makes me physically sick because he's my uncle. I couldn't even think of anything worse. And the second one thought I was interested in this 19-year-old. So
19-year-old.
You should be secure in yourself. That even if you are dating my uncle or you fancy my uncle, be secure in your own source. Believe in your own. You're beautiful in yourself. But I'm like, someone said they feel intimidated by your presence. That's another one, because I'm not being cocky or anything, but 9 times out of 10, I don't actually have to say a lot when I walk into a room. People, even the wedding that I went to on Saturday, all I said, I went straight to the bride because she was my friend who got married. And that's when people kept coming up to me like, oh my gosh, where'd you get your dress from? Blah, 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 blah. I didn't say a Scooby to half of these people because I'm my friend. I don't know anybody else. And to be fair, I went to represent my mum because my mum loved her as well. And I am been at the wedding. And I do believe, I just feel like I'm one of those people. I've been told in the past that I don't look very approachable. I think that's changed because people do come and talk to me now, thank God. But I mean, I don't have to say much. And already it's like people are making up stories for themselves. Like, second one thought I was after this guy who I look at, honestly, like, people think we're related when we're together because we do look quite alike. And she was like, you think you're all that and you think you're all nice, and I literally said nothing. I came into the house, someone offered me a drink, and they introduced themselves to me, and I was like, oh, thank you. And then I had this woman in my face, and she, honestly, God's my witness, I actually thought she was going to put her hands on me. I really did think she was going to attack me. I was worried about thinking, I don't know this woman from Adam, and I was genuinely like, I probably was a bit scared. I was thinking, oh my gosh, she was right in my face, guys, and being so serious, and I was genuinely scared. Wow, she's going to put her hands on me in a minute. It was so scary.
That whole thing that people use, and they say, you think you're all that. Yeah, you are. You are all that, and good for you. And go and show all of that. The dress you had on at the weekend was beautiful. Go and be all that, because that's you. That is yours. That's your natural body. Go and be yourself.
Yeah.
They are just jealous, intimidated by you, all of those things, but they don't know how to keep their mouth shut. Because actually, if they feel like that, they should keep that to themselves. They don't need to share that with somebody else.
I think that's a really good point. That is a really good point, especially when you consider that you haven't even said anything.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Cecile, because tomorrow's not promised. So at the end of the day, you might as well just shine your light. It seems like a joke, when people put up these memes and say, if your light is too bright for somebody, give them a pair of sunglasses. But it's true. But it is true, because you didn't do anything except go and visit your uncle, and then this person decides to feel intimidated. So she's basically the one who has shown herself up for what she is. And like you said,
We all
thank
look
God for
different.
birth.
We all look different. So let's shine our lights on ourselves, because
Exactly.
everybody is different. We're all built differently, but it doesn't mean you have to be horrible. Nico, you've got 1 minute before you, it's nearly,
Yeah,
I'm
before
just
you
letting
go.
you know what the time is. Okay.
Can I just quickly say on Samara's point, this is a nice story. I remember once I was in London and I was going out with my friend and we saw these two ladies, right? They were quintessential is probably the word, you know. They were dressed up, they had their blue rings and everything. There was just something really, really cute about them. And we were like, oh my God, we just said to them that they looked really nice. They gave out such a nice vibe. And it turns out they've been friends and they come up to London every now and again. They go for afternoon tea, then they go for the theatre. And we were like, oh my God, I hope our friendship lasts for that long. You know, it's that type of thing where you can feel inspired just because of that was just the vibe they gave out. And I just thought that I still remember that randomly. I just remember those two women. And I'm with you. I just don't see the need to put women down because like Cecil says, it's hard. It's hard enough as it is.
Do you know what
Exactly.
it is that came to me, right? If I was, so I'm someone who still now I do suffer with mental health. I feel like it's better managed these days, which I'm really happy about because it's taken me a long time to get to this place. But like I said before, I've suffered in the past with body dysmorphia and other things. Like I just really didn't like who I saw in the mirror. If these two women had caught me back then, mental health was in the bin. And this is why we've got to be so careful. And that's why they say the whole be kind thing, because you could be that person's final straw if you're nasty to them.
Yeah.
I was in a really dark place. I think it was like 3 years ago or something. And I went out with someone who I thought was my friend, right? And again, I think this was another jealousy story. Now I'm replaying it back in my mind. I was out with her and I was getting a lot of attention. Bearing in mind, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with flaunting what you have, but I was very covered up that night. Just had my braids and that was it. And I had a lot of attention. Then people found out I could sing, so they were trying to like speak to me about booking me and stuff like that. And then she just kicked off at me and she was like, you should go and unalive you. I don't know if you could say that on it. Unalive yourself and be back with your mum because you've let her down. All of these things, being really nasty. And my mental health, I think that's when I was in the middle of a mental breakdown. So I went home and I was shaking and I literally had to ring my friend and say to her, like, you need to stay on the phone to me. We need to come to my house because I don't trust myself being at home on my own right now. And that was after 20 minutes of just sobbing on the phone. I was so exhausted at what she said to me. And then the next day I blocked her. So she'd messaged me on another account and she was like, you need to learn sometimes, blah, 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 blah. Talking basically like sometimes when you think you're all that, this is what happens. It comes back to bite you. I was like, all I've done is be a good friend to you and support everything that you've done. She was like, you don't take accountability for what you did wrong. I said, you did nothing but slag me off and shout at me and cuss me about my mum. Again, you spoke about my mum who's not here. So I meant within my rights to protect my peace and block you. So she tried to, even the next day, I was thinking, oh, okay, I'm not making excuses, but you was drunk, fine. But the truth comes out when you're drunk, apparently. Yeah. So when you're cussing me out about my mum, that's what you really feel about me.
Yeah.
I'm scared of. And then obviously she's come to me the next day, still on this foolishness. So I don't know if she was still drunk, but I was like, no, I blocked you for my peace. Like, you were so nasty. I've never seen you like that before. And I never want to talk to you again. Like, I'll just pray for you from a distance. I don't want nothing to do with you because that was vile. Again, it was another occasion where I hadn't been out for ages because I've got the kids. I decided to go out with this friend and she just stabs me on the back.
And she's right in the sense that you needed to learn something. You needed to learn that she was not your friend.
100%.
And that's what you needed to learn.
To her. I think I said something like that to her. So one thing I did learn last night is like, you're not my friend. You're not a friend.
Yeah.
Because I came out with you and you know my setup. You know, she was like, she spoke about my children. She spoke about my situation with their dad. She spoke about
what's her situation? Sorry, I didn't make it, but what's her situation?
She was very, very miserable. Like, she was quite a lonely person. I think I was people that was around her. And I said that to her as well. I said, listen, I've got so many people around me that love and care for me. Like, I do. And it's because I'm good at keeping relationships. I'm not one to burn bridges. And if I do, I try my best to like rebuild that because life is too short, you know. And she's just very lonely and just sad in her own little life.
So does she have children? No children? No husband, boyfriend, girlfriend?
And that's why, you learn that she was not, because your friends do not do that to you. Your friends do not do that. You know, that is not a friendship if someone's then going to behave like that. Anyway, so we need to come to the end of the show.
Hang on. It's definitely down to the other person's mental health, but some of these women need to hang around with either gay men or drag queens and actually learn how to big up each other and support one another in the best way possible.
Yeah.
I'll just leave that there.
Okay. So we have got to come to the end because it's time's getting on. There is the Real Talk show this evening at 7:00 with some fabulous guests on. We've got our community Zoom next week, Shelley?
Next week, Thursday.
Week, Thursday, at 7. So if you've been watching, drop us a message. If you're watching on catch up, let us know that you've been watching and let us know your thoughts about what we've been talking about today. And anybody who's out and about tomorrow, you need to keep yourself safe. Don't just, if you know that's where they are, walk round. Go the long way. Don't go through, because people are finishing work and stuff like that. Oh, anyway, we're not going back there. So keep yourself safe tomorrow. And what's she saying? Oh God, this is either going to make you laugh or cry. So this is Trisha. I was in Tesco's yesterday. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's gone.
Sorry. You do it. My hands are here. I was in Tesco's yesterday. A lady was complimenting me on my hairband, which she made. She then loved my hair and then said, I love how you people do your hair. I went on my way and smiled to myself. I didn't have time to educate. No, because we can't be educating people all the time about our bloody hair. Jesus Christ. That's
it's funny, you're talking about educating about hair. I'm thinking to myself, why would you see somebody and compliment them and use that type of language, you people?
Because people do that all the time. They do that all the time. And the biggest one is,
the wrong thing sometimes.
Can I touch your hair?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
you can't. Seriously, why do you need to do that? That's another show. We will be talking about that because that is a whole big thing. You people. Do we say that to them?
No.
Do we say that to them? No, we don't.
I speak to people as individuals. I like how you've done your hair. Why do you have to say you people? What's that got?
You people.
I think, as annoying as it is, I was going to say, but as annoying as it is, sometimes, to be fair, we have to recognise that it is just poor language. It's not malicious. It's just because they've seen the girl they didn't know down the block. Oh, that got nice braids. And then they happen to see you in Tesco and say, oh, that's the third person I've seen that day. And it just becomes you people. It's not because they... I don't know. I don't think it's all wicked. That's what I was just saying.
It isn't all wicked, but we have actually been
long enough
since the 50s, and the hair has been here since the 50s and longer. You know, the queens, black queens, and etc. But the hair has been there.
Yeah. Oh no, I understand 100% completely because. Yeah.
Anyway, you need to go to work, woman. You need to go to your desk.
I'm not feeling it today.
I can see that.
We're not going to get told off for you losing your job.
Yeah, exactly. So we will be back next week, 12:00. And who knows who we're going to have on and who knows what we're going to be talking about. Maybe the hair. Oh, God. All right, Trisha, you need to come on the show next week, I think, and we need to talk about the hair. We need to talk about the you people. We need to do that. Maybe that's what we're doing. Right. Have a lovely day, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.